Hello, hi, this is Rani Ahmed with you, and in this video I'm going to discuss and explain what's programming for the web and for websites. Okay, and exactly I'm going to tell you what's the position and the job position for being a web programmer. Okay, and what are the tools that are used to program a website. This question I had because there are so many little graduates, okay, or maybe still at the studying period in their university. They always get confused, what's this and what's that. Okay, although you can see something on Wikipedia, definitions and things like that, but I'm going to summarize things from my perspective as a programmer, okay, who programmed for the web. And also like the commercial things, things that you see every day, things like that. So let's start. Now we're going to explain the system of web programming first, okay, and we see later every one of those squares and arrows what each do. So the whole system is that I have here at this rectangle, okay, a list of languages used at the browser or client level. So this is here at the terminal or at the PC or at the browser level. Okay, you have a browser that browses a web server. Okay, it can, in this arrow, it can send some data. Okay, so between the browser and the web server, this server can be on your machine or on a remote machine away from you. Okay, now the default is that this server is a remote machine and has the software that serves the web. Okay, it can be Apache web server, which is free open source software, and you have IIS, Internet Information Server, which is Microsoft made software, and it's closed source, of course, because from Microsoft. And I have here, okay, between the data source that I'm going to deal with at this level, okay, and the web server, and both the data source and the web server can also be on different machines or usually at the same machine, and for security reasons most of the time put them on the same machine. Okay, or maybe if they want to make some security reason for a remote machine, they would put some kind of firewall here in between. Okay, this is out of the scope of web programming. Okay, so this is just an administration side. So and between the web server and the data source, okay, and data source, as you see, can be a database server, okay, or it can be an XML file, okay, or some comma separated values file, which is a like when you save the Excel file as a text file, okay, where every field in the Excel file is or your spreadsheet is a semicolon. Okay, so first column, then a semicolon, then second column, then semicolon. Okay, but every row is written like field 1 semicolon, field 2 semicolon, field. Okay, but when you look at it from top to bottom, it will be just very much like an Excel file or like a spreadsheet program using LibreOffice, for example, Calc. So now let's go back to the list of languages that are used for programming, and as you see, there are heaps to learn. Okay, there are like a headache to learn, seriously. Okay, so you have to choose for yourself according to, first of all, your time. Okay, like the time frame that this is just a matter of project management. Simply, you need the time frame to know whether this language is very fast in executing the projects, and also you've got to know if you can pay for such a service if you want to publish it online. Okay, because you can't if you want to publish it from your home or from your office, it's very costly. And there are some languages which you are forced to learn whether you like it or not. Okay, so and there is also a time frame to learn all this just to reach the target, which is having a website. Okay, now first of all, there's the HTML. HTML is the code for the for formatting the text on the site, and also it's used to make the forms. It's also used to set the tables. It's much like a Word document, okay, but it uses like normal text, plain text, just to describe the way the document would look like after you print it on the paper. Okay, or if you want to view it on the web browser. Okay, so browsers like Firefox, Opera, and Chrome, and so many, Safari, for example, on Macintosh. So there are heaps of software. Now, CSS. CSS is what HTML would use to like definitely and maybe like very accurately describe every detail in the formatting. For example, you want to have like the HTML, what would do, for example, it says here I have a paragraph, but this paragraph, how it will go, left or right, okay, centered, whether the direction of writing from left to right or right to left. Okay, all this is like those attributes of the formatting of the paragraph, for example, doesn't stay and stick only to the paragraph. It can do everything on the HTML page. Okay, but for this, for example, for this property, the or what we call tags in HTML, we use CSS to describe the attributes of the paragraph. Okay, the CSS can deal, for example, with a unified way for all paragraphs. Whenever you just set the style, okay, so they put the styling. So CSS means cascade style sheets, exactly. So it puts the styles for every tag, every element there that's in the HTML page, okay, or the HTML document. Okay, and therefore this is how, for example, you see the colors in different parts and the divisions of the page and how they look like and where the images in the page do appear and things like this. Cool. Now JavaScript. Here we start now here. Now, by the way, first of all, HTML and CSS are not programming languages. They are just, I call them just a language. It's just a way to interact with your document. Okay, a language to interact with your document, how it would look like. But it's not a language to interact with the behavior of the application. Okay, and the inputs and outputs to the application. This is what we start with, something like JavaScript, which is the language, okay, that's used to control the page at the client side. For example, you can say I have a button here in the page, and you want to control what it will happen when the client, the user of the application, that is, what will happen when he clicks that button. Okay, before it sends the data, for example, to the web server. Okay, because you can do things which can be done just only on the browser side. It doesn't have to go to the web server. So the JavaScript has to deal with all this. Okay, now VBScript. VBScript is something made by Microsoft on Internet Explorer, as far as I know. I'm not sure. Okay, but it's very much like JavaScript, and it just runs on the browser side. okay. But nowadays I don't know if there are people who still uses it, and it uses the mentality of and their way of Visual Basic in writing. That's why they call it VBScript, I think. Anyway, it's not the big deal. Big deal for you is to use JavaScript. That's it. Okay, that's the standard nowadays. Now, Ajax. Ajax is not really a language. Okay, it's a kind of, like, they call Ajax is short for asynchronous JavaScript. Don't know what's the ANX, I forgot, but it's something for making the website look like it's working locally at your machine, okay, while it's really communicating with the database at the back, okay. So it doesn't make the user feel that when he presses he has to wait for something and then comes back with the data, okay, and moving between pages from page to page to load them, okay. So everything works at the same page he's working on, okay. So it will look like the way JavaScript works, okay, because JavaScript also works only in the client side level. So you don't feel that delay between solving the equations and the problems that are there on the website, okay. And for example, if you want to retrieve data and things like that, it doesn't take that long. So there will be something else like running in parallel with the site, so you don't the user won't feel that. Good. Now, jQuery. jQuery is very much like Ajax. It's a library. It's not really a language, but I'm just setting it as all as a language because not Ajax, of course, just jQuery, because it's now more like a language, okay. It is seriously a JavaScript library, okay, but the way it's written, it will make you feel that it's like a separate language. So jQuery is a way just to make interaction feel like Ajax, okay. Now, JSON is an associative array. It's not really a language, but it's used in web programming as a tool, okay. So it's the associative array, by the way, is like you have usually in the arrays of C++ and Java, the basic ones, you use number indexing to reach the value, because you have a pair of for example, at number 1 you have Rani, at number 2 you have Ahmed, at number 2 you have Ziyad, you have whatever, okay. Maybe you have a car. So at this number you have those strings versus their number and their order, okay. So they are ordered arrays. However, in JSON you have an additional thing, which is you can refer to the value by a name. For example, if you want to say at Rani, at the entry or the index Rani has a Toyota, for example. At index Ahmad you have for example a truck, whatever, okay. So this is how it works, and it's very language independent, okay, purely language independent. So this is all at the client side. Now the browser through the form here, okay, sends the data as get and post, okay. It's not and, it's or, I mean it's the way, the method, it's get or post, which is like data that when you press submit in the form, if you see the values on the top of the browser, okay, this will be the query string, okay, and this query string is a get method of sending, okay. So that the other page that you submitted to, after pressing submit, it will move to another page. So this second page will swallow those data, okay, so to process them. Now post is the same as get, but in the address bar, okay, you won't see that query string at all. Okay, so that's all the difference, and the second page also will swallow and process that data. Cool. Now in the server side, because you send the data, you need something to process the requests. Okay, so this is where the server side languages come into place. So this is a list of them. I have a TCL with a Rivet library. You've got TCL also with Web Shell. Okay, those are libraries that do server-side scripting. Okay, and they are both based on TCL, and and all of those languages, all of them in this list, usually they communicate with a database or some XML file. Okay, as I said in the first. And I have, for example, this is very famous. We have a PHP. Okay, we've got also a Perl. Okay, and those are most famous nowadays, Perl and PHP for server-side scripting. Okay, now TCL is not that famous nowadays, but I'm trying to do it, make it famous, by the way. But to get TCL running on a web server, you've got to pay for that. Okay, although the TCL itself is for free, but to get it running, because there are not that much of people who provide it as a scripting side language. Okay, scripting server side language. So got also Python. If you can configure it, you can just also do the same, communicate with the database, and you've got ASP made by Microsoft. Okay, you've got Ruby. This is an open source language, and we've got ASP.NET. ASP is also made by Microsoft, but it's the newer version. It's the like the one that we are currently using. ASP is the old style. Okay, and I think ASP uses the CGI method, which is like you have to build it as a normal program, the site, and then it will be executing and then sending the data and the output, I mean, through the web server to the browser. Okay, as a normal program. It's not really like a website that uses a dynamic library like in PHP or Perl or Python or Revit or Web Shell. Okay, and using this way is like memory hungry. It's very hungry for resources in the memory. C++. Now, before I go to C++, we've got here Java and Java Server Pages, JSP. Okay, and through them you can make something similar to TCL and PHP and Perl. Anyway, regarding C++, why I mentioned C++. C++ is the base for all the rest that came in this list. Okay, so if you want to make an application that's like so swift, okay, and retrieves the data for you that's very fast, you use C++. However, regarding using TCL and Rivet, PHP, Perl, Python, and I think Ruby, not of course JSP and ASP at all, you can use a program called, it's not a visual one, it's a command line one. It's called Swig. Okay, SWIG. Now this app will make your application that's written in C++ a command or a function or a module that you can add it to the languages TCL, Perl, Python, okay, PHP. So in this way you know, the PHP and Perl and Python, TCL, etc., those are based on C++. So there will be like a delay between converting between TCL, for example, and the execution part, the normal part, okay, which usually passes through the I mean the C++ thing, but it's not really C++, okay, but just saying so, okay. So in this way, using Swig, you can speed up your programming and the response to your website, okay. But this is also, if you want to make just a purely C++ app, it will be on CGI method, and CGI method will be just like executing programs, and every time somebody who wants to execute the same application, somebody else at the same time will be executing the same application one more time, so you'll have two copies of the application. So this means that the website is will get later after a while slow, okay. So that's why they use a threaded way to execute the website using TCL, Perl, and Python, okay. So if you want to go for something, I don't think after this web programming is easy, because as you noticed, you'll have to learn so many things, okay. So as if you're covering every language that's there in the world. So thanks for watching. I hope you liked it, and I hope you take patience and take time in learning web programming. Thank you.